It's in Phoenix. Holy man, you guys, it's 105 degrees there Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. So those of you out there climbing those hills in the east side of Scottsdale, I hope you are well hydrated and well, lots of water and a hat and some sunscreen. Yeah, seriously.
Fun.
Right. So, all right. Well, let's kick things off there. And I know a lot of people are here to hopefully hear about next step plans and launches, upcoming things like that. So up front, we will not be going live with cities today. We will not be announcing exact cities today. I am going to give you a short list of cities that we have. There is still some internal incentives that need to be aligned, and we don't want to rush things out there and draw them back. So they're coming soon. We're getting very close. We're beating up lots of different options, and we're down to a couple. And maybe Matt, do you want to list off the 5 or 6 kind of shortlisted ones that you proposed in the chat there? And that's got a thumbs up from Alex. So Matt, I'm going to pass that to you. Can you give us 5 or 6 shortlisted options?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be off video. It doesn't look like I can stream into the channel, so I'm not trying to hide from anyone. No reason. Yeah, that's no worries. I've just given some context there. I'll talk at a really high level. I can't take total credit. Actually, we can't take any credit for the list. We're evaluating a lot of different options on where we are going to invest more in coverage, and Graham's going to talk a little bit more about what we're trying to accomplish with that. Some of the areas that are on our short list are San Francisco, the LA area. These are kind of metros, and we pick little areas of interest kind of inside of there. Phoenix, unrelated to the hot weather going on now. Dallas area in Texas, and the Tampa area in Florida. They all have really, really great strengths, great pilot networks. People have been contributing just like mad dogs there. And there's a lot of change happening in all those cities, a lot of high value in the real estate. Some places are weather prone to weather disasters where recent, fresh, high resolution imagery could have a ton of residual value as the communities see change. So I'd say those are really the short list on things.
I'm going to throw Calgary, Alberta on there as well.
Good point. All our recent conversations have really been on the U.S. This is totally great, Graham. That is absolutely up there in the top 3.
Yeah, and those are based on, as Matt said, the value per pixel and the demand signals that we're getting. And as we mentioned
exactly
in the last couple of calls, we're really going into the next phase of this thing, looking at demand and sustainability and leveraging the value per pixel of this imagery that we've started to build out. And that's where the targeted and what we're going to call, we'll go back to a high level again. And as you know, we're trying to build this world's freshest map. So that's a recurring living map that we're working towards. And customer demand is going to be where we start to go deep. Well, we being you guys, we being the community, we being the network, we being the project and the business have proven that we can go wide, we can go broad, we can cover large geographies and territories. That's now a capability. But to make that sustainable over time, we first need to prove that we can go deep and that we can monetize that in a way that's sustainable in the long term. And so we'll start doing that soon in the geos that are most attractive looking from that perspective. So you'll see as we have now this hiatus and this maybe dip, we might call it, in supply funded or funded missions as we figure out what we do to sell that data sustainably over time. And then we see that growth in those metros as demand opens up and as these partnerships come through and start bearing fruit. So that's Niantic, Skywatch, and Esri, among others. So that's where we're at, and that's the high level of this. But unfortunately for today, we do not have the geographies locked down, and that's just because there are different incentives and people on our team that are trying to figure out what the best strategy going forward is, and we weren't able to lock that down by today. So the June 15th date that we had hoped to have an announcement ready for and going out the door is going to get pushed a little bit, but we want to bring you the real details and the real juice once it's locked down. That's the story for right now on that. I will jump into demand missions. Pittsburgh wrapped up really quickly. That was awesome. Thank you to the pilots who flew there. I know there were some pilots on the ground who would have been ready to fly even sooner, except they were, the reservation system stymied them a little bit. And in part, that's how it works. And in part, we know that it's not perfect. So we have a solution that we'll be announcing here the day for a partial solution for that as well. Scottsdale is rolling there outside of Phoenix. It's looking really good. Alec, you shared a LinkedIn post on that. I haven't looked today if it's moved even farther along than that. How are we looking in Scottsdale? Anyone want to give me an update? Nav, Alec, have you perused Scottsdale as of this morning? Looked like all the easy stuff was getting captured and the stuff.
I did take a look at it briefly. Where are we here? It was going pretty fast again. So yeah, it's pretty neat. See how fast it goes. Yeah, it's basically,
moving along.
Yeah, a lot of it reserved.
Yeah, it's looking great.
Yeah,
Okay,
it gets up into the rolling hills a little bit there on the east side of that. So I'm curious how that is, especially in 100+ degree weather. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, I see someone saying the Scottsdale HOA is refusing entry. Do not force that issue. If you can't access those zones, feel free to just report them and move on to the next one. So HOAs do control, obviously, their property and their real estate. So launch and land requires their permission, and if they're not giving it, just move on. No worries there. And obviously, we don't want to cause issues or cause concerns with any of those landowners. We have Qualicum Beach coming out, small capture. We also have some strong upcoming demand signals and have finished a feasibility for some additional capture in Texas and some additional capture in Georgia. Texas looking at a large capture, potentially 100+ missions. Georgia, a little bit smaller, 20-ish, but those are moving through the pipeline from Skywatch. So super excited to have some Skywatch stuff coming in. I also have to share with you. Let's see if I can get this up. Actually, I'll get to it in a minute, but we will be officially announcing. You guys have the early heads up on the Skywatch partnership and the Esri partnership. We will be officially announcing that partnership on June 25th. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if I get anything wrong. Along with that announcement, we will be offering all Skywatch users a 50% off promo, Skywatch Content Store users a 50% off promo on their first order, and doing a large marketing push official launch announcement with the
maybe I can jump in and just give a little more context, guys. So Skywatch it's Esri, so it's the front door to the Esri ecosystem. So Skywatch is a Canadian software company actually that aggregates drone and aerial data, and they have been contracted by and partnered with Esri to basically create the software that enables ArcGIS users to order Earth data. So right now, if you're an ArcGIS online user, you can go into the Esri content store and you can order satellite and aerial data. And now, for the first time in the world, they can now order drone data, standardized drone data from the only standardized drone imagery network in the world, you guys and us. So ArcGIS users, which are basically every government in North America, many customers in the AEC sector, many in the insurance sector, many in all the sectors. If you use GIS, you know about ArcGIS, and those customers will be able to procure data from this network directly through their account. So they no longer have to come to us and get RFPs for more allocation. They don't have to come to us to get another contract. They can procure directly through their Esri ArcGIS subscription, which is a huge barrier for them to purchase previously, because creating new contracts and getting new budget for things is really difficult, especially in the public sector. So this is the first of its kind. We're the first drone imagery network in the world to be available in something like this, and it's because we can rapidly deliver this data in a way that is standardized. It's the same everywhere. And so just like satellites and planes, they can count on the outputs because the inputs are so good based on the flying and the automation that you guys do in the field. So that's going to go live on the 25th. and we expect to see some really exciting opportunities come through in North America. Just North America to start, but of course ArcGIS has coverage across the world, so this could be an opportunity for us to get more coverage in other places. And we're also speaking at a higher level about much larger scale capture programs with Esri. So stay tuned. But we're talking like, large regional captures across Canada and the United States. That it's a bit early still, but these are things that we're very much in active conversations with.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So that's our demand update right now. It changes. It's very fluid. These things come in. Sometimes they move right through the pipeline and get approved by the client. Sometimes they take a little bit of back and forth, but as we can, we will put them onto the network. I got a couple shout outs. Shout out from my part to Essential Earwig, along with Bluegrass Dronography. They picked up or kind of worked together. It got a mission covered off in rural Kentucky, Paducah. So very big thank you to Essential Earwig for making that extra trip out there. Appreciate getting that collected. That one's going to be recurring. I'm hoping to get Bluegrass Benji off his get his drone off the ground. But in the meantime, Essential Earwig picked that up for us. Phoenix Pilots, that's my shout out. 105 degrees. That's impressive. I hope you're doing all right out there. And from Nav, just a shout out for Regular Cheetah for running around LA and cleaning up some of the high altitude and the extra stuff around LA. I also have one more in Vancouver. We were doing some work pre-FIFA in the city of Vancouver, and so we had Sympathetic Goose, John Hurdler, you're here on the call. Thanks for all of your efforts around Vancouver, getting that in the door. There was some complex stuff, some high altitude stuff, some interactions with FIFA security, a lot of back and forth to coordinate and make sure that happens. So interesting project, a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and Systematic Quokka helped out on one of those as well, just to make sure we got everything in the door for that customer. So it's, when we get some of these unique requests, we decide what we can take on and what we can't and what the network served for. But it was, I always appreciate it when pilots are able to step up and just help us out getting through some of these things to prove what the network's capable of. Going live today, and Paul, I saw you jumped on the stage late. Hopefully his makeup's all done and his hair looks good. I don't know if he's going to turn his camera on, but Paul has got us all set up to... Oh, he's wearing a hat. There you go. He's got us all set up. You're muted, or your mic's not working. To let you request missions. So now you will be able, starting this call, Paul, maybe you want to share the link in the chat. You can drop in a request, just like a request-a-gon when you first started or your onboarding missions. These are RP only. You'll get a bunch of missions dropped wherever you want. So if you want to build up some RP so you can reserve when demand missions hit your area, if you want to just fly a little bit to collect the imagery and submit that, if you are just curious about how it works and you haven't had a chance to fly yet for whatever reason, any reason you might want to have these, go ahead and request them, and we'll put them down every Friday along with the onboarding missions. So anything that comes in between now and next probably Wednesday, I think, is the cutoff, we'll get in next Friday. So anyone that's been waiting to fly submissions for whatever reason, anyone that wants to get their RP up so that they're ready to reserve, they can unlock some more reservations, is welcome to do that. So pretty excited. And Paul, thank you for putting that together this week and making that happen. We will be launching, as I mentioned, the programmatic, what we're dubbing programmatic capture, this go deep, but we will also, in conjunction with that, be launching coverage builder missions everywhere, or as close to everywhere. In most major metros, we'll be launching, basically changing the status of the zones from locked to flyable with points only rewards. And I realize that most people will not necessarily want to fly for points right now, but we are taking the points to a new place. We're planning to take the points to a new place, which will include things like early notifications about demand missions. It will include things like access to Spec-C data products and derivatives. Don't have the details on how this is all going to roll out exactly right now, but get started early on your RP if those are things that are of interest to you. If the thing that's of interest to you is the USDC paid missions, then focus on that. But if we have obviously pilots in our network that are interested in the data, that are interested in the derivatives for the potential to market it and or access it for their own purposes, and or create their own derivative products out of it, we're looking at ways to unlock all of that for you and make this a more valuable ecosystem for everyone involved. So if RP is something that, if points and those types of incentives motivate you and drive you, this will be a big opportunity for you. It also will tell us where there's lots of pilot activity, where there's lots of drone enthusiasts, and that's going to be places that that's going to inform our decisions around some of our depth and our paid programmatic capture. And so I've used the term programmatic capture a couple times now. Alec, do you want to launch into a little bit of what we foresee programmatic capture being, or do you want me to do that?
Sure. And sorry, just to clarify, you were talking about Coverage Builder just then, or are you talking about?
I was talking about Coverage Builder, but I've referenced programmatic capture a couple times, and I haven't given a good definition of what that is. What's programmatic capture?
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So we have proven together that this network powered by you guys and the software that we've built can capture data across wild scales, never before seen scales for drone imagery. This has happened with planes and satellites, but it's never happened with drones. VLOS, drone operations, 6.5 million acres in every state and province in North America. It's crazy, right? And we've built something really special together. And what that involved in the last 12 months was like a lot of capture across a lot of different geographies. And we've had some amazing contributors contribute a lot of data and a lot of flights and a lot of spexagons over the last 2 years. And what we're now seeing is that the biggest tech companies in geospatial and logistics and two-sided networks are now saying, okay, you guys are legit. Like, we didn't think you could do that, honestly, but now we've seen how much data you can capture and that you can actually do this at these scales. We want to start talking to you. And we're seeing some signals for demand in some really specific geographies in that kind of context. And what's interesting is that customers want the ability to access spexagons and data more than once, but they want to do it in specific geographies, and they want to have coverage and repeated coverage in those specific geographies. And so we want to facilitate that, and we want to better understand the economics around that so we can use that playbook to scale out those repeated captures with revenue at much larger scales. And so that's really at the essence programmatic capture. It's a capture program that's predefined based on what we understand about what customers are wanting in terms of refresh and geographic scope. And then that gets implemented by contributors. So it could be one full capture of a city and then dynamic updates based on where things are changing, based on data that we have coming in that tells us where things are changing. It could be just full captures multiple times, depending on where customers are coming from. And it could be, as much as every few weeks, every few months, every 6 months, depending on the dynamic nature of that capture or full scale capture. So we think it's a really exciting next phase and playbook for the network, but it is different than how we've grown this network before. And so I want to be honest about that and call that out, is that there won't be as much spread out geographic capture that's funded by network growth. But I think we're at this point now where things are starting to balance, where things are starting to shift, and that there's a lot of new requests for data coming in from customers. It's going to ramp up more and more, especially with this ArcGIS integration and announcement, among quite a few other initiatives that we have going on in the background that have yet to be announced. But ultimately, it's sustainable growth and it's programmatic growth. And I think that's a really big piece that we're going to focus on here. So hopefully that helps to provide some clarity.
Yeah, I think that's great. And so rounding back to the top of the call where Matt listed off some cities, we've used a number of inputs to narrow down a list of cities that make sense to focus on, and that was that list. And everybody's got their votes, and everybody's got their reasons internally, different team members for why they think certain cities are going to be best. And we're going to start with just a couple, probably 2 or 3. We'll launch first, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll iterate, and then we'll grow, and more will come online. So Matt's list, Matt, maybe I'll try to rally it off because I know most of them. Calgary's the first one that will likely go ahead in Canada. It's been our most successful Canadian city from a demand perspective. Then we had San Francisco, LA, Phoenix. These are not confirmed. These are all on the short list. Dallas, Houston, and Tampa, I think, were the ones that are shortlisted right now. So expect in the next couple of weeks some more announcements and some more certainty and some go live launch dates for cities among those on that list. Maybe not all of them, and then we'll go from there. And we'll bring cities online as it makes sense, and we might take some cities offline or change or reduce, as Alex said. Some might be specific cadences, some might be dynamic, some might end up not proving their worth, and that might change. So it's a little bit of a question. It's a little bit dynamic right now, and so we just want to be open with that, and we want to come to you guys with the status of things as they are right now, and we look forward to bringing more certainty. But we're also really excited about some of the things that we can't announce, and what I'll call out last before we just dive into questions is the great suggestions from the community. Cowboy is pinging me regularly with some awesome suggestions, and we're trying to link some of those things up. Duncan always reaching out with suggestions. So if you have them, share them, and we'll try to facilitate more information and more access and more case studies and materials for everyone. Because as we grow this thing on the demand side, it also ends up growing on the mission side, and that keeps everybody busy and flying, and that's what we all really want. So pretty excited about what's coming next. I will dive into some questions. Uzi, I don't have anything for you specifically in Ontario right now. Matt, take note. Uzi wants something in Ontario, so give that the weight that it's worth. Duncan did ask
somewhere on the list.
It's somewhere on the list. Duncan asked about a cadence. And as I think, Alec, you were just finishing out at that point, so it will vary until we figure out what makes sense. The long term, the big vision is that it being the program itself, the programmatic capture, starts to identify and weight areas algorithmically for recapture, right? That's what we're building towards. That's the mature vision of the network. Obviously, right now, a lot of that is manual, a lot of that is learning, a lot of that is us trying to gauge and test and understand. So cadence is going to be up for debate on any city that we launch into. Is there investment into educating the public about the availability and how to access the SpecC network inside Esri? Yes, 100%. There have been some early webinars with Esri customers, but as I mentioned, this joint marketing initiative will start on June 25th. It'll include the 50% off on the first order, and that will include also the ability there'll be some pre-scheduled webinars and the ability to book a webinar or a call with either our team member.
Yeah, and we're gonna have lots of announcements coming out leading up to that. So we'll make sure to share them in the community, and you guys can take them. And there's some really good content coming out from our product marketing team. And Esri's gonna be promoting it too. So Paul's got a really great video. I wonder if you can share a bit, Paul. That would be kind of fun.
Paul, you got the video?
Can you share your screen on these calls? Probably not, right?
Paul doesn't have any. You can. Paul doesn't have any sound though. I'm not sure how sound would come through.
Paul has sound.
Anyways,
I got it working now.
No, Paul still his microphone shows not. It's got a little X.
I can hear Paul.
Really?
Yeah, I can hear Paul.
Paul and I were just talking to each other over there.
I can as well, actually.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe I just have Paul.
You guys muted him. Yeah.
I just got sick of Paul and I muted him. Paul, talk now.
Oh. That was just
there you go.
Yeah. Bad about you there for a second.
I just
think you didn't hear me.
At some point I must have got sick of your voice and put you on mute.
Yeah, I'll post something in the Discord a bit later once it's ready. Getting pretty close.
So I'm just typing an answer. I could probably just say it. But talking about if there are any more work in Phoenix, or right now there's a campaign that just went in Phoenix, but Phoenix is on the short list for the potential programmatic capture cities, but also our point only missions are coming. More and more of them are coming. So we've heard that pilots are wanting to contribute and even just practice and get to know the network more. And it can be hard to do that when there's no spexicons to be flown. So we want to make that much easier for everybody. And so expect to see much more point-only missions available at your discretion. They're not urgently needed missions at all. They're more for pilots to just get familiar. But we also want to do more with the points program. And so as Graham talked about, the more you fly for those points, we're calling them coverage builder missions, and we'll provide more details soon. The more points and status that you get, the more things you can unlock for yourself. And so one of those things we intend to do is access to the network's data. I think this is a really exciting idea, and I really want to push this forward faster. There are some technical challenges with doing that at scale, but we're working on it. Also, priority access to paid missions, the more points that you have and the more that you've been contributing to the network makes sense.
This is a suggestion that the pilots, you guys as pilots have had for a long time, is tiering of pilots, whether that's for experience, for licensing, for other credentials, or simply for your history contributing to the network. And once those tiers exist, which we intend for them to, that's been prioritized by product, you will have certain benefits within those tiers, and so that's a way to set yourself apart from the crowd and be. We'll have premium type missions that are available for those pilots, whether it's emergency response, whether it's higher value missions, etc. We've taken that suggestion really to heart. Someone asked about when a new pilot Daisy sits unflown. I call them Daisy. I call them fried eggs, but Daisy's probably nicer. Those are only live for 2 weeks. I would suggest you give them the 2 weeks to fly them, and then they come down. We'll have lots of missions for people to fly soon. Kids home from school. Duncan was asking, and I like this question, about a paid media or advertising push like we did for the pilots. So last year, there was a fair bit of marketing put into as we grew the network, paying for paid media for pilot growth. What's the, let's just talk about it. What's the strategy? And Paul, maybe this loops you in on the demand side. Is it similar? Is it paid advertising? Do we think that they're in that space, or what's our strategy there? Paul, you're getting put on the spot. Marketing strategy.
He can't talk, remember?
No, he can't. I hear him now. I had him muted.
Oh, okay.
Like me personally.
Yeah, we have a number of campaigns running on paid channels, a lot of content creation. We're working on setting up basically an asset library with some of our different product types that we're able to get into the hands of potential customers quicker. There might be some developments in more open access as well. And we've been running a couple webinars, Ben and myself, for some folks in the Esri space, some other government and utility users. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. Esri UC next month down in San Diego. Yeah, we're pushing hard on the customer side to get as many leads in the door as we can for the sales team right now.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out the new website went live last week. Updated website went live last week. Real focus on the physical AI space, the Niantic type partnerships. So exciting there. Paul, maybe there's a way we did a lot with the pilot side advertising. It's getting the pilot community involved in sharing the promotional material that we're paying for, whether that's a recording of a webinar or whether that's a social media post, whatever it might be. So something to consider there.
Yeah, for sure. I'll keep that in mind. I think it would be really great just to get some of you guys who have experience flying, maybe just chatting a little bit with the people who would actually be using the imagery as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. Well, we are at the top of the hour. I hope this was an informative call. We had a great turnout. Actually, we were a little over 60 listeners at one point, which is about as high as
64.
we ever get. So really excited to have you guys here to present the next phase of what this whole project looks like, to see that growth in the demand side. And so we want to address, we wanted to address, and I hope we have addressed the fact that missions are a little light right now, but we really foresee a swinging of the tide and a flow out of this ebb that will have enough missions on the board for everyone to stay active and stay earning and be part of building what it is we're trying to build here.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. Thanks, to everybody. And this has been an incredible journey so far, and really we're just getting started. The partnership with Niantic Spatial has been incredible. We got calls from the biggest tech companies in the world the day after it. And I encourage you guys to read up on how we're working together with them, and the data is coming out of us and into Niantic, and then out to some of these customers. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, like literally the biggest companies in the world. You can think of the big tech companies. That's what I'm talking about. So we're on a really great path here, and the community is what makes this such an incredible company to be working with. So thanks everybody, and more specifics on these programmatic cities coming out very soon. And we're gonna make point-only missions much more accessible to everybody in this coverage builder format, where points will have much more utility than they do now. So looking forward to it, you guys. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and safe flying out there.
Yep. All right. Signing off. Thanks, guys. We'll be in the Discord. We'll be chatting. So any questions you have as follow-ups, just shoot them in one of the general channels there, and we'll answer.
All the best.